Hi, this is WowBiz Weekly. I'm Lynn Hinderrocker, and welcome to WowBizTV.com. This is the video platform that serves the Omaha business community. Omaha's only local business news magazine podcast. And again, I'm the producer and host, Lynn Hinderrocker. I've got a great show for you today. 3 unusual and special guests. If you hang in there with us on this video player, you're going to learn a lot in a relatively short period of time. These are very special people and they have something to share with you. My first guest today is very interesting. I'm going to begin by introducing this idea to you. And I'm going to ask you to think about it for just 2 seconds, and I'll bring her on the set right here on WowBiz Weekly. Which is more important? Let me ask this of you all. Strategy or talent? Is it about people, or is it really about strategy? You wouldn't believe the dialogues and the controversy that goes on about this particular question. We're going to talk to somebody today who would insist that it's all about the people and the talent that come before strategy. So please welcome my friend. She's a Vistage trusted advisor. She's an expert in HR, personnel, talent. I refer to her as my ad hoc chief talent officer. Please welcome my friend Doreen Blakely, everybody, right here. Hi, Doreen. I got to you.
You did.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I know you were saying, where's he going with this, right? But I got you here.
It sounded good.
That's right. And we're set up right now, right?
Yeah.
You've been in the HR industry how long? 20 years, something like that?
15.
15, okay. So you strike me very interesting because you're very precise about categorizing people and understanding their background and the details that go into their resumes and so on and so forth, right? So let me ask you this now. Which is more important, talent or strategy? When a company sits down and says, hey, we're going to get it together for 2013, we got some people issues over here, we got some strategic considerations over here, what should we work on first? What are you going to say?
It's all about talent because talent makes strategy happen.
Is that right? I would argue that point, by the way, but we're not going to get into that right now. Tell me, what's happening in the world of talent? It's a very pivotal time, kind of a tipping point, really, in our economy. And are people changing and so forth? What they're looking for? Are they leaving their jobs? What's up?
This is a very critical time right now. As we're seeing the economy change a little bit. People have been sitting tight, wanting to see what's going on. But now is the time that they're going, hey, let's evaluate our current situation. Is there an opportunity for growth, and they're going to make it happen? Yeah, I hear that people are planning to head for the exits, all right? That they've been kind of hanging in there, just holding on to the salary, but now they feel like some things are kind of opening up, so they've got their resume out there. Is that what you're seeing, or not necessarily? What you have to identify is that really people don't leave because of salary necessarily.
Yeah.
They leave because of the people.
And I've heard the boss, actually.
Yes.
It's your relationship with the boss oftentimes.
So if they've got a great relationship with their boss and they really think that they're adding value to their company, they're not going to leave.
Yeah.
Regardless of how bad the economy's been.
Is that right? Well, when the economy explodes, or let's say expands, what does that do to people's intentions? Do they just start circulating on LinkedIn a little bit more to see what's out there, or are they, continue to be greatly loyal to their existing employer?
The best professionals are always looking for opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, they're constantly evaluating what their current situation is and wanting to know what's out there. So they look at executive recruiters to identify, hey, keep me posted. If something great shows up, call me. Otherwise, I'm going to continue to do my job.
Okay. Now, we have a lot of students here from Creighton's Business School, as you know, and they participate in the development of the show. And since I'm mentioning their names, they really should burst into spontaneous applause right now. Me push you like that again, okay? Let's say they're interviewing for a job, all right? They're out there, they've got a fabulous background in education here at Creighton. The world has changed. What's their elevator pitch? I mean, what do you think they should be emphasizing? Huh? How's it different than it was 10 or 20 years ago?
They immediately need to engage with the hiring manager.
Okay.
You can't rest on what you've done. You can't rest on the piece of paper. You can't expect that that's to sell you. It's engaging with the individual because people hire people. Yeah,
and how do you do that? How do you engage with the hiring person or the person in charge of that?
The problem right now is so many people do it on texting or email, and they think it's all an electronic function, and it's not. Great, let's get the process out of the way, but then pick up the phone, call the individual, verify they received the information, see if they have any questions, express your interest in the opportunity, and say, if you need any questions, here I am.
Yeah, I think the human element is the essence of the engagement piece.
Absolutely.
Even though they may hear about you maybe 2 or 3 ways, have you heard about that young person and so on and so forth, but in the end, they have to put a face and some tonality, some attitude, right, with the capability. Now, let's say, for instance, I'm a company medium to large, I maybe have 100 to 250 employees. I've got an active HR department, and I'm bringing you in. Do you outsource to experts? Do you intensify the HR, bolster it with more professionals? How do you manage the HR function right now?
Right now, I'm more engaged in the passive candidates where HR assesses the active candidates.
Okay.
They put an ad out, people respond that are active. They're like, okay, that's a piece of the market. Now, Doreen, tell me about the piece that's not going to be responding to that position so I can compare apples to apples.
And how do you find these so-called passive candidates that aren't really even looking at the... give me the inside scoop now. You've been doing it for a while. We have WowBiz Inside Scoop videos on the rest of this platform, so give me the inside scoop. How do you find these people? Hang out at tapings of WowBiz Weekly? Is that where you're getting your tips?
Yeah, here's my cards.
All right.
My cards. Got to get them while they're young.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I'm going to be here for the long haul.
Coach them up,
5
baby.
years,
Coach them up. That's right. No, but seriously, how do you find these people? And what do you say? I heard you're great, and you might want to come meet with me, and I've got a potential employer. Is that how it goes?
Well, the best question is, if I had an opportunity that appeared to be better than what you have today,
yes,
would you want to hear about it?
Uh-huh. And do most of them say, depends on how much money we're talking?
Nope.
They don't say that.
They just say, well, it depends upon what's the position. Or I'm getting ready to retire. I was just recently promoted.
Okay.
But
all right.
what is it you have? And then I identify it's not what I have.
Yeah.
It's what you're looking for.
Okay. Let's flip it around for just a second and pretend that your responsibility in working with organizations is to nurture the existing talent, the existing employees, right?
Okay.
Identify people that are high potential and bring them up to the next level where they're truly executives rather than just supervisors or whatever. Give them a more strategic viewpoint, build emotional intelligence, all the stuff that makes for a great leader. How do you go about doing that? And is that a good idea to do that kind of thing? Is that a good gig?
It is a good gig.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to advance in their career. They all want somebody there coaching them, mentoring them. I mean, everybody at the end of the day wants to do well.
Yeah. Do people know what they need to do? Do they know what the missing piece is? I'd like to be a VP in 3 years. I just got to do better at. Do they know that, or do they not know that?
They don't know
They
that.
don't know that.
And sometimes their boss doesn't know that.
Yeah. We don't know what we don't know.
That's right.
So often. Well, Doreen Blakely, thank you so much for coming in. I always feel enlightened when I'm talking about talent and people. Later on in the show, we're going to talk about strategy, so hang around.
All right.
Doreen Blakely, everybody, right here. Chief Talent Officer. Thank you. We'll be right back. WowBiz Weekly will be right back. Thanks very much. 2 years ago, I had an idea about WowBiz, a concept about doing video and interviews and talking to executives, and I stumbled across some great professors and administrators at Creighton University, and I stumbled across Leon Millibar, who you'll shortly meet. He's head of the SBA district here in this part of the country, and I said, Leon, what do you think about this? And he said, I think that's a fabulous idea, and I know a few people, let me introduce you around, so on and so forth. He said, Lynn, go for it. He says, every day I help people get finance, small business people realize their dreams. He said, I think this concept has potential. 2 years later, here we are in the Mastercraft building, brought to you by Creighton University and their business school. I want to introduce you and ask for a special round of applause to the man that got us here, in large part, Mr. Leon Millibar, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Great. Awesome. Thank you so very much for being here. It's great to see you again. And by the way, you're looking good. You're working out. You're trim and you're physically fit. I love that about you.
Both of us are working out.
Well, we're working out. You're ahead of me, I think, but we'll go further. Hey, listen, tell us a little bit. We'd love to have you on and get updates about small business development in the eastern Nebraska area and financing, twists and turns. And let's hear about some of the latest trends, because I'm not in the know right now.
First of all, business is good. I look at the loan activity that we have in the state. The dollar amount is being lent. The lenders that are involved, the makeup of the businesses that are actually borrowing money from us. And the other thing I always look at is the amount of startups that are seeking financing. People who still believe in this economy in this part of the country. With 45%.
True believers, I call
True
them.
believers.
That's right.
That's right. They have the vision no matter what else is going on around the world.
Right, absolutely. And how does Nebraska compare to New York or California, or when you go to the SBA conventions and stuff? What do people say about your district and the general trends that you just alluded to generally?
We're doing things right here. That's one of the things the governor repeats.
Why am I not surprised to hear that, by the way? I'm just,
I look at the statistics on our loan activity. We're very, very consistent in terms of how we deliver our services. Our currency rate, people who borrow money from us have a tendency to pay it back, which is wonderful.
What would be a ratio there? I mean, do 80% of them pay them back? 90, 20? What would
Let's say we're in the top 5 in terms of the currency rate in the country.
Really? Okay. Well, let me ask you this: how many loan apps on weekly or monthly or whatever, and then how many are actually, actually result in some financing? Just give us a general idea.
Well, I can tell you, when our traditional programs, last year we did 441 loan applications.
Okay.
That actually paid financing for about $156 million. So that's about $350,000 per application.
Oh.
That does not include all of our other microloan programs that we have. So there's a variety of financing that we actually support. We are not the face of the community. We use a lot of community groups also to go ahead and provide financing.
Yeah, you work through like CRA and that kind of stuff. Is that right?
Similar to that. We've got a number of organizations that borrow money at treasury rates and reloan it out.
Okay. You mentioned microfinancing. We're here in the Mastercraft building in North Omaha. It's a hubbub of entrepreneurial activity, as you well know. And tell us a little bit about what the trends are in the micro lending world. I don't think lots of us really know about that. What does it mean, and crowdsourcing and all that? I've heard about that.
Well, first of all, a lot of times, a number of my friends of mine started businesses here in the greater Omaha area and throughout Nebraska.
Yeah.
And they did it for $15,000, $20,000, $25,000.
Okay.
They couldn't, some of it they had the money themselves, got it from family or friends or someone else
Sure.
provided financing. So, but with micro financing, it's loans typically less than $50,000. Our average is around $15,000, $20,000.
Okay.
Crowd financing is a whole different new realm.
Yeah, and that's internet based, right? Is that how
that
works?
is correct. You go out on the internet, you find one of the major players that provide or help organize the funding for your business.
So let's talk about that briefly. They kind of help you publicize your business or your aspirations for your business, right?
That's correct.
And then they accept what, donations, or people putting, they invest what, $100 in that business that is going to start in Omaha, Nebraska? Is it that kind of a thing?
That is exactly. It's one of those things that most people, can you imagine, I need to raise $15,000, $20,000 or $100,000, and you get donations from $5, $20, $100, maybe $1,000. Some are anonymous.
Yes.
We've had a number of businesses
It's just
have
amazing.
done this in town.
Do they take equity in it, or do they expect to be paid back, or what?
The Security and Exchange Commission has not worked out the equity part. So basically what they're getting is marketing materials. They get t-shirts, coffee mugs, or may get a discount on products.
Ah, very, very interesting. Well, Leon Milbar with the SBA here in Omaha, Nebraska, I got to tell you, man, it's great to have you. We've had you on several times before. You're going to be our stellar star the next time we do another show. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Leon Milbar, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. We'll be right back with Wild Biz Weekly. Thanks for watching. If you're in a mature industry and you have a mature company, a well-developed company that's been doing business for a number of years, you know the world is changing, probably more rapidly than you actually realize, and the ability of your employees to actually adjust and adapt to this changing backdrop, this context where the world is moving fluidly and rapidly. We've got technology surrounding us, and you sit back in your most private moments and say, how should my company reinvent itself and adapt to this incredibly fast-paced world that we live in? You're going to love this interview. Don't go away. My third guest today on Wild Biz Weekly is a gentleman from Sioux City, Iowa, but the lessons that he has to share with us and the things we're going to tackle together here, this is not an easy interview. This is a very complex situation, but it's strategic. We talked before to Doreen Blakely about the importance of people. Now we're going to talk about strategy, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome a Vistage member here in the Omaha area, a great guy, coming from Sioux City today to be with you and talk about some very important issues, Mr. Doug Flom, ladies and gentlemen, right here from Sioux City. Good, hey, from Sioux City. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Thank you very much. Do you love these Creighton business students in the audience? Are they great?
Yes.
Yes. Now I know you have a lead. That's right.
I want to go back to college to get some more education if this is the quality.
This is the quality, and we've only begun, by the way. These folks have a lot more to bring to the party than you may even realize. My last meeting with them, I was just blown away as they analyzed, by the way, the WowBiz platform, the video platform, the potential. It's very interesting. But anyway, let's talk about Midwest Technologies up in Sioux City. This is a company that has been serving the educational market primarily for some time, right? And they sell shop. Essentially, they produce, manufacture, distribute, probably distribute mostly, shop equipment for classes in woodworking and metalworking and things like that to schools. Do I have it right?
Yes, right. It's called, depending upon the part of the country,
yes,
it varies. Career technology education, industrial arts, vocational.
Good.
There's a whole range, and that's part of the identity problem that we have to market who we are to the universe.
Yeah, it's hard to even say who your customer is exactly. I remember industrial arts. No, that's a very interesting. I like that. I like that one. Well, anyway, so this company, and you're one of several people kind of run the company right up there in the Sioux City area, and they have national scope, right? Is that true? Okay, and how long has the company been in business?
Well, the company has been in business 100 years.
Oh my goodness!
And if you talk about adaptation and adjusting,
yes,
we started out as a hardware business.
Okay.
Then we went into a distribution business, and then we went into a catalog business, and now we're into an internet business.
That's right.
So the leadership of the company over the years, it's family owned.
Yes.
Has had to adapt and change.
Yeah.
And we are facing opportunities to grow even as we speak.
All right, fantastic. Well, what do you think is the next chapter? I mean, we've gone from a rural economy, and by the way, your company's roots would be in that rural agrarian economy, and then we moved into an industrial economy, right? Then we moved into a service economy, then we moved into an information-based and a digital economy, right? I mean, all these transitions. What's the next? What are your choices? What strategic choices do you have in front of you right now? And I'm going to present a couple more when you're done with this.
Okay. We are a niche education supplier. We aren't dealing with curriculum.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with computers. We're dealing with supplies, equipment, and furniture for this segment of the education market.
Okay.
It is our...
Mostly high schools, by the way, right?
Well, middle school and high school.
Middle school and high school.
Some community college. We have 50 customers. Every state Department of Public Education has different curriculum requirements,
right,
and as a result of that, they finance the acquisition and focus of these different programs to which we supply.
Yeah, that's
equipment.
tough because the money's coming from various sources, and sometimes an unreliable source, right? Unpredictable, right? Whether they're going to finance these programs or not.
Right.
All right, keep going.
Okay. We provide opportunities to purchase through a catalog. We still put out a Sears catalog.
Wow.
And that book, we have an aging population of teachers.
Yes.
That's how they purchased.
Really?
So that's a segment of the market that if we chose to ignore, it would be to our detriment.
Okay, all right. Because you know where I'm going. That's a cost savings right now. But we'll move on to another piece.
Right. So that catalog now is electronically available. It's a page turner. There are links to different suppliers and sources of information within that instrument.
Yes.
There are teachers that now require us, or rather administration officials, require us to provide a digital database to them of our products so they can pre-select from those.
Of course, that's normal.
So we flipped.
In this day and age.
Right. We had hoped that they would look at our database and buy based upon how we chose to organize it.
Oh, no, it's about them, not you. You know that, right?
I understand that, but we're very disciplined.
Yes.
We provide information that allow a teacher, an instructor, a purchasing agent to make an intelligent choice.
Right.
And that's part of our value-added proposition. And that's part of the difficulty of being a distributor, because if it's price, then we're out of business because the big boxes on price can beat us.
Absolutely. You don't want to play the price game.
Right.
You never do. So now you have to reinvent yourself. Now let me ask you a question, because we're wrapping up here, and I love the background, but I got one key question. If your niche market that you're serving is, kind of getting smaller or stale or, not really growing, right? How do you do that? Is there any possibility that you could move into adjacent? In other words, make the pie itself bigger as opposed to clinging to a share of the existing pie. Does that make sense? How would you do that? Sell computers to schools? Sell service or information to schools?
Well, we developed a curriculum program, and that is something that we manufactured. We went to a university, developed the curriculum.
Yeah.
And the story is that eventually became too expensive for us to be able to maintain and update because Windows changed the architecture of its software, and the education market was left holding the bag when Windows 98 went out of business. So we are afraid of trying to venture into that to that extent.
I understand. And fear is a huge issue, and when it spreads throughout a culture, and the money's still coming in, it's really difficult to make a change. Doug Flom, I tell you, from Midwest Technology, it's a pleasure to have you down here from Sioux City. I find this fascinating because, not just because it's your individual situation, but this is how the world is today. We're all struggling with similar issues. And very interestingly, of course, manufacturing is enjoying a rebound. There's a new emphasis on that. And the skills that you teach with your equipment and your supplies ultimately help people prepare and go into a career, right, in the manufacturing sector. I think you're more relevant than you even believe you are, but go ahead.
Well, we're putting a great deal of emphasis on recognizing that the service industry can't be exported overseas.
Yes.
Okay? The construction trades cannot be, I mean, they can't build a house over there and ship it back and reassemble it.
Exactly right.
There are jobs, and there's a future in the education universe for us and for those kinds of activities.
And the world has never looked more carefully and closely, and by the way, critically, at the education sector and their failures in certain respects. I think you're poised. I think you're at the tipping point, and I can't wait to have you back in a year and see what actually happens. Doug Flom right here with Midwest Technology from Sioux City. Do you love it? Thank you for coming, my friend. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Been a great show. We'll be right back with a brand new show, Wow Biz Weekly. Don't go away. Thanks a lot.